straight away. Um, so the data connector is our latest release of software that we've done basically to expand the reporting tools available to you all within Opera SE. It is an SE product, so if you don't know, if you haven't looked at SE or don't know anything about SE, please ask Julia, Susan, whoever else at Minster, and they'll be happy to go through and show you our SQL SE product. If you don't know it, the SQL SE is a complete rewrite on the back end and the database of Opera 3 using latest technologies, .NET, C Sharp, SQL, um, and also built on the foundation of improving security of your data within the product. I'm sure Minster speaks to all of you about IT security all the time. I see the marketing that goes out. So we needed to embrace that as well to ensure that your data within Opera 3 SE was as secure as it possibly could be. So I'm going to talk to you about why we needed the data connector. Some of you may have XRL. So a few pros and the differences between XRL and the data connector. How's it going to work with Opera 3, SQL SE? And to be fair, the bits you want to see, a few examples just to get your mind thinking about how you can use the data connector for your business. It's not death by PowerPoint because I know I hate that. I get bored doing death by PowerPoint. So it's just a few things on here. So we felt, having spoken to partners and customers, there was a requirement to offer another reporting tool that was fast, secure, as I said before, and also gave direct access to your Opera 3 data, but could also be used with other reporting tools. So if you've got XRL, you know it's fabulous for linking your data to Microsoft Excel. But some people have other reporting tools such as Power BI, SQL reporting tools, Rapport, lots of other ones. And so we needed something we could get data out into those other software packages available. We carried out lots and lots of technical investigations. I didn't, our development team did, and decided on OData to use to actually bring access and extract that data efficiently and effectively from your Opera system. This is a great slide, and I'm not going to read it to you because it's very boring. But OData basically stands for Open Data Protocol, which allows data to be extracted, and I'm reading this, from different data sources and analyzed by a host of tools such as Excel, Power BI, as I've just said. So it's quite technical, so I'm not going to go into that because it's the morning and it's not great anyway. But if you are interested, have a go at looking at www.odata.org, and there's examples of how it's used and what it does and all the technical side on that. So why are we using it? It's fast, it's modern technologies, it's secure, can use a number of different ways, different applications, as I've said. It uses something called JSON, which is actually, you may have heard of XML, and JSON is the latest technologies to replace XML as a standard format of data transfer. But the key thing is this red one here. It's the method of deployment and access ensures that security is maintained. So looking, if you've got XRL, key thing is data connector is not a replacement for XRL. They both complement each other, so you can have both or one or the other. So probably my personal opinion, I think XRL is great for things like detailed reports. So if you're doing your profit and loss or your balance sheets, it's great for that sort of thing. And you've probably got those written, and that's what you use XRL for in the main anyway. The data connector, although it can do management reports, is great for dashboards, KPI reports, and little inquiries that you have to keep looking at and things like this. XRL pros, you know it if you've got it. It's secure, simple to use once you know where you're looking. Lots of great functionality with Excel and works with Excel brilliantly. The data connector, it's even more secure. It's direct. You can't break that security of accessing that data. Um, Use on multiple applications, as I've said a couple of times. There's no user count. So if you purchase or want to use Data Connector, it covers everybody that has a Pegasus login for one cost, as opposed to XRL, which if you want multiple users, you have to keep buying it again. Um, if you use Data Connector, and you will know with XRL, the calculation like basically affects everything that in Excel. So you have to keep pressing F9 on every spreadsheet, even if you're not in XRL, which can be quite annoying. You don't have that problem with Data Connector. Some great refresh options throughout the products that you use. Integrates to Excel, integrates with other things. It's also very, very useful for developers. So if you're getting any third-party software or additions added um, to your Pegasus system, it's great for getting the data out and using that as well. So how is it going to work with Opera 3 SQL SE? But I'll show you now. It's going to install alongside SAM. Now, if you haven't got SQL SE, you have no idea what SAM is. SAM is our server administration and monitoring tool. And also touches on a bit of security. So I'll just pop it on the screen there if you can see that. So this is SAM, and it sits outside of Opera 3 SE and is basically a central point of administration and control for your Opera SE system. So very quickly, and I won't go into all of them because that's half an hour in itself. Sets up your server, where's your server, great little utilities for support and for Minster to help you with anything that may be going wrong with your Opera. It does log them, and you can copy and paste and keeps an audit so you can see trends, etc. Of problems that you may have had. Emails controlled, your database. There's a nice health check you can run to say preempts any problems. So it'll look at your health check and go, yeah, that's okay. It's all fine. If there's not a problem, it will. If there is a problem, it will alert you to that. Great migration tools, and where licensing for bespoke development data connector is done. But what I wanted to show you was this screen here. Whilst we're in SAM, now what we've done, we've improved the security both in. Let me just let that person in. We've improved the security for both XRL and Data Connector in SE. So you can actually drill down. We've actually set up reporting roles, and you can create these yourself. So whereas in the past, if you got XRL, you may have been able to report on everything that's in nominal, you can actually drill access down even further than the user admin rights using these tools in here. As you can see, little X's and ticks to say I've got access to everything in here, bill of materials, but any ECVAT import export information I can't access through my data connector thing. So we're just taking into account security with that. So that's SAM, so you know what that means. Presented with friendly dictionary. So the OData feed and data connector gives you a bit like XRL, but I would hope a little bit friendlier in terms of the way you can actually generate the reports. And this is a key one now. So if you do have any bespoke development that creates data, you can actually report on that through the data connector, which you can't do currently with XRL. So I don't know, you've got an add-on to stock that does something or other, or price lists or something like that. You can actually get that data out and report and just as standard without having to do anything else through that, and the ability to manipulate the data to whatever is required. But you want to see is the examples, so let's go on to that. Flying through the time here, which is good. Okay, so I'll show you some in XRL in Excel, sorry, first of all. So I have some standard ones here. So one of the other benefits is if you run XRL, it can take some time. If you're pulling a lot of data across your network, it can take a lot of time to actually get that report up on your screen or refreshed. This is a little quicker because it goes back to the server and says, I just want this data I've asked for. So example here, you just go from data, other sources and everything, Power BI, etc. as this from OData feed. And the format of this is in URLs. And then we have got a little tool that you can create the report on, but I'll click it just to show. So I'm doing a report here, and this is quite a big report because this is everything, all my data in a sales account. So it does take a little bit of time. So I want sales accounts, and it's going to show me an example of what's going to go, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just picked a snapshot. We do have a transform data button there. So if you've ever seen Microsoft Query for reports, you can go into there and do whatever you want with the data. So I'll load that up. So that would then go back to the server and go, just pick up that information you need. And there you go. So just close. That's every single bit of information on my sales accounts within Opera 3 SE. You can see there's an awful lot. And then you can go ahead and do whatever you want with that in Excel. Problem with that, it's a lot of data. I don't really need all of that data. So I just want to see all of my sales accounts that have a balance over £2,000, for example. So again, I say it is an overview, not training, so I'm not going to go too much on how you create these things, but I will show you something in a minute. Click OK. Now this should bring me, there you go, it's going to bring me a report of my sales accounts, the names, the current balances in order, and whether they're on stop. And there's that data. Now what you've got, once you've got that, save that, and you've got your report forevermore. There are some absolutely fantastic refresh items in here, and it's just, let's click on it first, that would help. Yeah, some refresh items on here, some options. So refresh data when opening the file. Yep, we want to do that. But you can also set it up if you wanted to as a dashboard or just something that runs in the background on your PC or your laptop. So we can go refresh every 1 minute, shall we say. Click OK, and I will prove it works. So if we go into, who should we do? Harman Talks. If I load up SE, go into sales accounts. And we will, was it Harman, wasn't it? Spelt it wrong. No, there we go. And I'll just create, they got current balance of 12,976. So if I put an invoice on for something silly just to prove it works. That always happens because I've got, okay. Stop. We'll do that. Hopefully that'll work. We'll put 20,000 on there. Don't care about that because it's just make it exempt from VAT. And we'll post that in. So now if I go back to that spreadsheet, tools, that should go up in approximately 40 seconds, 45 seconds, up to around about Gilpin Motor Supplies there. And I'm going to try and beat the time. Just wanted to show you something very quick in just about the security in SE. We've actually set up, and a lot of people have missed this, in the user profiles, we set up Windows authentication, which has also increased the security in how you access the system. The other thing we've done is, while that's going in the background, is any reports that are generated in Opera 3 SE, you can only access them from within Opera 3 SE. Obviously, you can print them and do whatever you want then, but no one can get onto the server and accidentally click on a report or a pay slip or anything like that. It's all a lot more secure than other products that we had. So that would have jumped up, I would have thought, I would hope. Yes, there you go. No. Harm and harm. Oh yeah. So I missed it. I suppose you're supposed to have seen that jump up in real time, but I talked too long. So it's gone up to row 8. It was down here. So just to show, so you can have that refreshing on the screen every hour, every 2 hours, just to see have you got any orders in, things like that. So, and it's the full functionality of Excel that you've got there to use. So very similar to XRL, in fairness. So I will minimize that. And I will show you, not that. This is the stuff that people really want to see. So this is in true Blue Peter style one I prepared earlier. Um, Little Power BI dashboard, or quite a complex Power BI, Power BI dashboard. We've actually designed this taking into account everything you could ever do. We wouldn't expect everyone to have all of that information on one screen, but you could if you want to. So just to talk you through, Power BI, if you don't know it, is a great way of just showing and analyzing data. Um, and people tend to have it on a screen or up on a big TV screen in the office just to show and getting it to refresh, like I've just shown you Excel, um, with the data all the time. What you can also do is use other Microsoft tools like notification services. So if that changes, it picks up the data, say, for example, every hour, and someone's placed a big order, you can have emails popping up or pop-ups on the screen to say there's an order, this it needs action in, perhaps a web order, something like that. Or if you're getting low on stock, it will pick that up and tell you things like this. It's all about the design of what you want to do. So talking through this, it's all interactive. So if I click on, so this is a sales accounts one, so it's showing number of customers, demo data, so it's not great, but total turnover, how many invoices, how many receipts, total number of transactions. You can have drill downs in this to show what you want, all without going into Pegasus. So it's all there for you. Lots of pretty graphs, lists of sales transactions, and it all changes if I click on certain areas. So you can see that's for uh, how we're doing in Germany, turnover 251,000 so far to date, etc., etc., etc. What we've also got here down this left-hand side is a Copilot link for your AI. So what you can actually do is go in and put a question in. How much have I sold today? How much how much does such and such a customer owe me? How many of these have we got in stock? And it will give you back an answer without having to go back into Pegasus and have a look. We got lots of examples of these. So we've got a nominal one. So again, transactions, budget analysis. We've just put a standard into SE, a budget import, so that if you do use budgets, it's going to be easier to do that. Um, that keeps popping up on my screen. It's getting annoying. Um, Sales one, which is similar to the other one. Purchase ledger. So it's all about aged creditors, debtors on the sales one on that one, etc., etc. You get the point in that. Look at the time. Um, Cash book, etc. Debt analysis, and these can be written for any modules, combination of modules. You could also pull in if you use other solutions, other software solutions that use OData exports. You could actually pull in data and have something from your other piece of software on the same Power BI dashboard as you've got your Pegasus information on as well. I will show you. We've also done one for payroll, which with payroll year end coming up is quite relevant. So just an overview of payroll on there, how many employees, your normal stats you require on there, which groups, where they all live, stuff like this. Just as I say, we've picked everything that's in there. Personnel, your age demographics, all the information there, pension analysis. And say you can click all those, and it's all interactive and will change. I would hope if I click that. There you go. So didn't show it change much, but that information changed there. And period analysis details, which you can drill down into different periods and see employee information that period, historical period summaries, and all these things, payroll stuff that I'm afraid doesn't mean that much to me, but will do if you know payroll. Um, so that's an overview basically of should give you an idea and get your brain thinking about how the product can be used, how useful that would be to you. And it's just something we've added. We thought we needed because people were looking at Power BI reports, etc. And we've been asked for those, so we wrote the bit of software to be able to do it. What I also that's what I want. So that's the SE data collector. If there are any questions, we can take them on the end, but looking at the time, what I wanted to do is also go through with you our roadmap for what's coming out in the next year. Big disclaimer because it's subject to development and testing and QA, etc., etc. So we've got the data connector, which is done. We will be improving that as we go. Um, I don't know if anybody knows about our AP automation solution, but basically that's the ability for a supplier to email in an invoice. Um, it codes that invoice for you in terms of your nominal and sales accounts and stuff like that, picks it up and automatically puts it in, goes through workflow authorization approvals on however you want to do that through your business, and then puts it straight into your purchase suppliers account in SE. So saves keying and time and things like this. But we're now working on phase two, which I'm told should be out March, April, which is the ability to raise your, if you've got purchase order processing, raise your purchase order, put it through a workflow authorization. It automatically gets emailed to the supplier. When the invoice comes back in, it gets matched against that purchase order, and then the invoice, as before, can be go through workflow again, or can and then goes directly into your purchase ledger in SE. So that's the next big thing we're doing. New user interface. So we're working on that and we're using a bit of data collector in there. So there will be, we're looking at sort of workspace areas on the screen, graphs, dashboards, stuff like that, and easy links to that suit your role and what you do. Going through that. So we're working on that. Keep on meaning to delete this one from the slide. Faster payments for suppliers, because you never pay your suppliers quick enough. So I don't see why anybody would want that, but they're working on something with that. And also the ability to have some form of credit card payment link on an invoice. So it goes something like Stripe, where a customer can click on there and pay you by credit cards, and then it comes straight back into your and matches against your sales account. We've started on this. You'd have seen if you're on the latest version, we've done some imports. We're adding a number of new imports into the system, with the end goal being that it'll be very similar to an API. So you'll be able to, all imports will be able to come into the product into Opera then. Towards probably just after the goal is halfway through this year, but I would think probably a month or so later than that, we're looking at including doing a cash book revamp of the cash book module and having automated bank feeds and reconciliation into there. So you link to your online bank account and brings down the data and then does its best to match those together for you. Lots more security improvements. You may know we're owned by a company called Infor, and they're very, very up to date on their security, and we've been designated to improve things even more, which includes sort of things like two-factor authentication for logging into Opera. So that will be very soon. Emailing improvements, and we're at a point now where because we've done the majority of stuff for SE, we have functionality within the partner base of them raising enhancement requests for what customers and what's needed within SE, and we're now working through those, and we'll be starting to include those all in the product as well, the ones that are obviously useful for a number of customers. So if anybody has any ideas, let Minster know. And they can log enhancement requests and they'll be up there for consideration to be included in the products going forward. which leaves me 4 minutes for questions. There you go. I covered everything, Julia.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's great. I think people may want to know, are we definitely online with the payroll upgrades, sort of timescales?
Payroll upgrades, latest I have is week commencing the 10th of February for the release of that.
Okay,
Um, to partners, obviously, so that'll be with you guys. As far as I can see, there's not an awful lot in it this year, so which is positive.
good. No, that's great.
Famous last words, because the
I was
government will
just going to
stand
say, don't say
government will stand up
that.
and change something in a minute and cause panic because they like to do that, or the previous one did anyway. So yeah,
Um, if anyone's got any sort of questions and perhaps don't want to put them in the chat or raise them now, please feel free to email the sales email, and myself and the team will pick those up. And anyone I haven't actually spoken to or met yet, I look forward to being in touch, get some feedback from today's event, and also see what other type of activities you'd like us to cover via webinars or workshops going forward. Thank you for your time. If you'd like a copy of the recording, I'll send that through, and look forward to speaking to you all again. And thank you, Julian, for your time. That's really
no problem.
appreciated.
If anybody wants to see more of it, or look at SE anymore, I'm quite happy to do a lot, come in one-to-one longer example because I know that's very quick and very fast. So yeah, happy to get involved in those as well. I'm going to stop the recording now. There you go.